a village economy. The story of Rampur village. This story of a village will take us through different types of production activities in a village. In villages across India, farming is the main production activity. To other production activities referred to as non-farm activities include small manufacturing, transport, shopkeeping, etc. Farming in Rampur. Rampur lies in the fertile alluvial plains of the Gangetic Basin in the western part of the Uttar Pradesh. The village is well connected with the neighboring villages and cities. Raiganj, a big village in 3 kilometers from Rampur. Farming is the main production activity in Rampur. Majority of the working people are depend on farming for their livelihood. They could be farmers or farm laborers. The well-being of these people is closely related to the production on the farms. Land and other natural resources. Land is the most crucial factor necessary for farm production. Land area under cultivation, however, is practically fixed. In Rampur since 1921, there has been no expansion of land area under cultivation. By then, the nearby forest had been cleared and some of the waste lands in the village converted to cultivable land. To grow more than one crop on the same piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. It is the most common way of increasing production from land. All farmers in Rampur grow at least two main crops. Many are growing potato as their third crop. Electricity came early to Rampur. It transformed the system of irrigation. Till then, Persian wheels were used by farmers to draw water from the wells and irrigate small area. People saw that electric run tube wells could irrigate much large areas of land easily. As a result, by mid-1970s, the whole of the cultivated area of 264 hectares was irrigated. While intensive use of natural resources like land and water has led to increased production and yields, the use of natural resources has not always been judicious. Experience shows the fertility of land in declining due to the excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. The situation of water is equally alarming. As water tables decline, farmers have to drill deeper tube wells than before. The use of diesel electricity for irrigation rises accordingly. Land distribution in Rampur. You must have realized how important land is for farming. Unfortunately, not all the people engaged in agricultural have sufficient land for cultivation. In Rampur, about 1/3, that is 150 of the families are landless. Most of the landless are Dalits. There are 50 to 60 families of medium and large farmers who cultivate more than 2 hectares of land. A few of the large areas have land extending over 10 hectares or more. 240 families cultivate small plots of land less than 2 hectares in size. Cultivation of such plots doesn't bring adequate income to the farmer family. Organization of production. The aim of production is to produce goods and services that people need. Further, the producers require a number of items to produce a good or service. These can be classified as follows. The first requirement is land and other natural resources such as water, forest, minerals. The second requirement is labor, that is, people who will do work. Some production activities require highly trained and educated workers perform the necessary task. Other activities require workers who can do manual work. The third requirement is capital, that is, the variety of inputs required at every stage during the production. Tools, machines, buildings. Tools and machines range from very simple tools such as farmer's plow to sophisticated machines such as generators, turbines, computer, automated machines, etc. They are not used up or consumed immediately in production process. They help to produce the goods over many years. They require some repair and maintenance so that they remain useful and can be used year after year. These are called fixed capital or physical capital. Raw materials and money required. The various raw materials such as yarn used by the weavers and the clay used by the potter are used up in production. Also, some money is required to buy other necessary materials for production and make payments for completing their production. The fourth requirement is knowledge and enterprise. To be able to use land, labor, and physical capital is a meaningful way to produce some goods and services. By them, provide this knowledge. Every production is originated by people or entrepreneurs combining the elements of land, labor, and physical capital. These are known as factors of production. Labor for the farm. After land, labor is the next necessary factor for production. Farming requires a great deal of hard work. Small farmers, along with their families, mostly cultivate their own fields. Generally, they provide the labor required for farming themselves. Medium and large farmers hire farm laborers to work on their fields. Wages can be in cash or in kind. Sometimes laborers get meals too. Wages vary widely from region to region, from crop to crop, from one farm activity to another. There is also wide variation in the duration of employment. A farmer laborer might be employed on a daily basis or on contract one particular farm activity like harvesting or for the whole year. Capital arranging physical and working capital. Modern farming method involves high-yielding variety seeds, assured irrigation, fertilizers, and pesticides. This, in turn, means that the farmers require a sufficient amount of capital for production and therefore money. Most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the working capital. They borrow from large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans is very high. They are put to a great distress to replace the loan. In contrast to the small farmers, the medium and the large farmers generally have their own savings from farming. They are thus able to arrange for seeds, fertilizer, pesticides, payments to laborers, etc. The working capital needed for farming. All large farmers in this village have tractors, threshers, and some own harvesters. All such farmers have many tube wells to irrigate their farms. These tools and machines are all part of the physical capital for farming. surplus or loss for farmer. Small farmers have little surplus because total production is small. From this, a substantial share is kept for their own family needs. Other large and medium farmers sell the surplus farm produce. A part of the earnings is saved and kept for buying capital for the next season. Some farmers might also use the savings to buy cattle, trucks, or to set up shops. There is often a loss in farm activities, especially when crops are damaged because of floods, pests, etc. The other risk is sudden fall in price of agriculture produce. In such situation, farmers find it difficult to recover the working capital they have spent. Non-farm activities in Rampur. Apart from farming, which is the main production activity, there are some non-farm productions activities. Dairy, the other common activity. Dairy is a common activity in many families of Rampur. People feed their buffaloes on the various kinds of grass and jawar and bajra, fodder cultivated during the rainy season. The milk is sold in Raiganj. Small-scale manufacturing in Rampur. At present, less than 50 people are engaged in manufacturing in Rampur. Unlike the manufacturing that takes place in the big factories in the towns and cities, manufacturing in Rampur involves simple production methods and are done on small scale. They are carried out mostly at home or in the fields with the help of family labor. Laborers are rarely hired. The shopkeepers of Rampur. The traders of Rampur buy various goods from wholesale markets in the cities and sell them in the village. A few shopkeepers also buy goods that the villagers produce and supply it to the shops. Markets in the bigger villages and towns. For instance, the person running the formal also buys wheat from the small farmer in the village and sells it at Raiganj market. Transport, a fast developing sector. A variety of vehicles on the road connect Rampur to Raiganj. Rickshawalas, tongawalas, jeep tractor, truck driver, and people driving the traditional bullock cart and bogie are people in the transport services. They ferry people and goods from one place to another and in return get paid for it. The number of people involved in transport has grown over the last several years.
మా వీడియో గనుక మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. ఇలాంటి మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం మా ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోవడం మాత్రం మర్చిపోకండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ వాచింగ్.